So the Doctor Who creators, the BBC, are not doing so well monetarily wise. So much so that the journalistic, I know we can all laugh at that because there's no journalist there, but the journalistic arm, BBC News, the head of that has sent a New Year message to staff saying money is tighter than than any year in recent times. But what's the truly nefarious part of this is they've already budgeted, and they've budgeted because it sounds like they're planning things, which comes to mainstream media and news, legacy news, being an element of control and subversion, and essentially just an arm of, a greater power. So let's dive into this, and you'll see exactly what I mean. So this is an exclusive to Deadline, and this true, I can't actually overstate it enough. This is truly bad. This is what people would say is conspiracy theory territory. It's really not. You'll get it in a minute. So BBC News has started the year with a sober reminder for staff: money will be tight. Jonathan Munro, BBC News Deputy CEO and Director of Journalism, emailed colleagues on Wednesday to warn that significant funding has already been committed to election wars and major sports events. Sorry, what? How have you already... Right, sports events have a calendar, right?
Yep.
Wars don't. Wars don't have a calendar. How are you committing money? How are you budgeting funds for the whole year, to wars? What are you doing? What wars? What's
they
going
maybe
on?
had some advance warning.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
It's almost like they know exactly what they're going to be doing, doesn't it? It's almost like they know what's happening. And obviously elections. But why would you need to commit a certain amount of money to? Why do you need to commit money to elections? What are you possibly covering that is going to remove elements of normal journalism from elections? Like, that comes to propaganda.
Well, elections in a war zone are much easier to rig.
Yeah, massively.
Yep.
Massively. So the news bonanza, coupled with the BBC's need to find an additional £90 million in savings, $113 million, on top of ongoing content cuts, means that the BBC News will have to be judicious in its spending. So they say a little bit further. Undoubtedly, more of our cash is earmarked up front than in any year in recent times. Why? What is so special about this year? Oh, wait, I'll tell you. Trust in legacy media has never been lower. And there we go. There we get into the truly subversive, coercive, controlling aspect. Right? Can we all agree? Can we see this?
Yep.
If they've earmarked money more than any ever, never in history is money been earmarked more than this. And yet, trust in legacy media has never been lower. It's almost like they're trying to combat their own misinformation.
Now, is this money that comes from that tax, or do they actually run off of revenue from like advertising and stuff? Because obviously, I don't really know anything about the BBC News.
It'd be from
that's what I was wondering. Okay, so we talked about this just the other day. Then, okay.
Yeah. We're going to need some patience. We won't be able to back every idea or service every request. The bar for discretionary spending will have to rise, at least for the next 12 months. Yeah, so when we can get everyone under our thumbs again.
I was going to say, yeah, so basically they've lost a bunch of revenue because you guys just don't use their service anymore, basically, is from what I'm gathering here.
Well, they haven't lost that. I mean, they need to make savings anyway, but it's not that. It's the fact that what I find truly terrifying is that they've already earmarked so much money. They've got their budget, sure, fine, but they've earmarked all of their budget away.
Well, look, the news portion of most networks is a loss leader. Okay, that is a known fact. Again, I can't speak for the BBC because I don't know how everything runs over there, but I'm just going by the U.S. situation. Now, over the last few years, what you've had happen, though, especially since the advent of the 24-hour news cycle, is just this constant barrage of bullshit news. And I think we've reached a point, like you just said before, where we're saturated with what we consider now fake news endlessly. We can't trust anything. And And I'm glad to see more people are, smart and can pick that out. Again, I can't speak for the UK. I don't know about the BBC and how they're running things over there, but I already know that things are uber woke as it is.
Well, they just get free money.
Yeah. So, I mean, at this point, the money runs out, though, after a while, is my point, especially when you're losing customers.
Well, they haven't lost that many. That's the thing. They only lost, I think it was like 2 million or something like that since the last figures were released. I don't know what the current ones are. But
yeah, but that's 2 million times how much per license fee?
Oh, yeah. No, true. Yeah, it's like 169, actually, coincidentally.
That's a lot of money.
Oh, yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, they've lost a lot of cash.
And that's my point is if news is already a loss leader, where's the first places you're going to start seeing cuts?
But they've already made, yes and no, but they've already made money with respect to the Disney deal. I guess my real take home from this is their statements themselves saying, yeah, we've got to allocate money to these elections and these random wars that no one knows what we're talking about. That's the real subversive element. And like I said, in combination with, you got to, like, the BBC is touting the new Argentine president as right wing. He's fucking liberal, for goodness sake. He's the most centrist liberal. He's not right wing. Like, this is the kind of propaganda bollocks that the BBC puts out. You ask any normal Brit in the UK now, oh, who's that Argentine president? They'll go, oh yeah, he's that right winger that because they just believe the BBC. So they definitely, it's still a propaganda arm. They're still promoting absolute nonsense.
And you still get that over here in the US, but yeah.
Oh, fucking idiots. Absolute idiots. Go on then, Andre, because you've got an element of understanding of this with respect
almost
to what
worse in the US.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's insidious in a sense, I think, absolutely, as you were saying, because there's multiple sides to it. One is that they kind of like have to say that, hey, we've already decided what we're doing. This is the pot, so you don't really get anything for anything else. Although, looking at what they have committed resources to, everything else is probably where the more interesting stories are. Especially this thing about they've committed so and so much to elections and wars. I mean, major sports events, that's fine. You know what the major sports events are. You know how much that's going to cost. So I have no issue with that. And I also have like no issue with them allocated something for elections that you know is going to come and for wars that you know is going to come. But that those three have such a big pot that everyone else has to tighten their belt. I mean, that should have some alarm clocks ringing. I'm not even joking. What do they know? What do they know that we don't, that they need to resource that kind of allocate that level of resources? That has me real curious. Another thing is, if it was that tight, this is the BBC. I'm sure they would be able to get some extra government money if things really depended on it.
Oh yeah, the government loves the BBC.
Exactly, that's what I mean. It shouldn't be difficult.
Evidence. They haven't taken away the TV license. There you go.
Exactly. You know, if they just go to the government and say that, hey, you know what, we're going to need some more money for news, they're going to get it.
Yeah, I find this massively like I'm not. Yeah, I don't like it. The year that everyone's in. Well, it's been several years in the works now, but where people's faith in mainstream news and legacy media is at an all-time low. They're like, oh yes, well, wars, oh yes, elections. It's like, yeah, okay, right. Well, so what's going on then? What are you trying to? What nonsense are you going to try and push now? I mean, it is all just propaganda. That's the way I see it. It's all propaganda. Complete shit.
There was a good article that I read from Forbes a long time ago. I can't even remember when it was, but it was talking about the 15 billionaires that own all of the media news outlets. Basically, 15 billionaire white guys who are in with a lot of government agencies and government officials who run all of the news media that you get. And that's all of it, between newspapers, websites, major news corporations, all of it is all ran by 15 billionaire white guys, and they always seem to know stuff that's coming down the pipeline that nobody else knows about. There's a perfect example of I'm sure probably a lot of people in chat, I'm sure you guys have all seen the YouTube video out there, and it's been all over other social media, where it's all these different news agencies basically saying the exact same words, and they put it all together, and it's just all these different news organizations, all these different programs across the entire US that are exactly saying the exact same words. So they're getting their marching orders from the top down. BBC is not any different than any of the other news organizations here. And it's all propaganda, and people are starting to wake up to that, and that's why trust in news media is so low.
Well, and the fact that they have been caught in multiple lies of things they should have known better, and nobody went and researched any of it, or investigative journalism is no longer practiced at all for many of the mainstream folks. So
now you get that on Twitter and other websites of people that do actual investigative journalism, and then the mainstream media, of course, ignores all that, and it's all conspiracy theorists, tinfoil hat people,
Yeah, even though, or even a lot of what the conspiracy theorists were saying a few years ago have all been proven bloody right now anyway. So it's just, it's a joke. It's an absolute joke. But I thought that was an interesting topic to cover.